Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again, and as you're probably not aware of at this point, Wuthering Waves actually does have a new update coming. Yes, version 3.5, and it definitely hasn't felt like that for a while because the live stream was like over a week ago. The news has been really slowly drip fed, and we're finally getting on into, like 5 days before the actual update itself, actually closer to like 3 or 4 to be honest, we're getting some news about Yangyang. And this unit in particular is very important, right? Because Yangyang is the person that we met at the very start of the game. People thought for a little bit they might have been the Grand Architect, but they're finally back in the forefront in the story. And there's a lot of questions we need answered, right? Why is she not Arrow anymore? Why is she able to delete things? And of course, how is she Havoc now when that's pretty much nothing even similar to what she was before? And why is she having the glow up? So that's going to be what we're going to get some information about over here with the official Yangyang Zhuanling reveal. I'm going to make sure that it's like a good size over here. We're going to get ganked by aliens too with the music. Turn that shit off. And now we're good to go. Because these always give us really good insight as to the background of the character. And when Yangyang is going to be undergoing a transformation live in the update, as we're all aware, the main story quest is going to be kind of like taken piecemeal in this update. It's going to be a little bit confusing at first, where she's not going to be in Zhuanling form by Act 1, and then you can see by Act 3, she's kind of had the transformation occur. So naturally, what we're going to be undergoing today might not officially be canon until you're done with the first part of the quest. So, like, do keep that in mind. Potentially some spoilers as well, but like, I don't know how to really avoid that when it's obvious this transformation is happening live in the patch. So yeah, that's what's going to be there over here. Let's go ahead and let's get it going. All right, appearance, Yangyang Zhuanling. So he's going to have, okay, they're starting off with kind of like the looks and the vibes and the aesthetics first. So they got the tasseled hairpiece, and then of course, the feathers everywhere on the clothing and the feathers on the hair. I think they're just fucking with us because they said she's Havoc. And then all they're showing are feathers and birds. Dude, like, are you serious? Like, so the bird character is not Arrow and the other bird character is Glacio. You're so fucking funny, Kuro Games. So this is like, to me, they know they are fucking with us. Like, it has to be intentional at this point that for the Havoc character and all of this, knowing how many people were confused about her attribute, that they just focus. They've never done this before. They have literally never done the appearance part first. They always get into like the lore and the info reveals, so they know what they're doing over here. Goofy ass Kuro Games. So yeah, I think somebody else also mentioned the impermanence heron's also a bird. I guess that's fair. Yeah, but like that, yeah, I mean, but she did not look like the impermanence heron. Like that motherfucker's purple. She blue. All right, now let's get the actual information. And it comes with like the nice little emojis too. That's cool. And they upgraded them. Born the second daughter of a renowned musical family from Mingting, gentle yet strong, pure-hearted and romantic, she's a votary of the voice who can commune with the streams. So this is kind of like the crazy shit, right? None of us knew this before. So I guess the important part is that she's been this the entire time, but like we just had no knowledge of that while she was like a Midnight Ranger, kind of like, you know, bumping the shitty getup over here. I guess she had that hidden power the whole time. And was just, I guess, choosing not to use it. Another thing to reference over here is, of course, I think I've already talked about this before, but this is, Yangyang as a whole is a reference to she's basically a reference to a PGR character. And that PGR character is essentially just, I mean, I might as well just show the screenshot of her. Or I might as well just show, like, some art surrounding her. Okay, this is great. Yeah, no, this is good. So, this is Selena Pianissimo, a PGR character. And basically, she has the same exact color aesthetics as Yangyang, and the big thing about her kit is that she's a musician, and she plays music to deal damage. She's physical, though, so not really Havoc or anything like that. But you can kind of tell Yangyang is meant to be like an XP of this Selena character, and I don't really know what else to say. That's like a cool reference for PGR players over here. But naturally, right, I think she's detached enough, unique enough that it's just appearance is the main thing going on over here. But just wanted to let you know that's where the background lore is probably coming in, and that's where the influence is coming from. So yeah, I think she also used to be a villain too in the story. I'm not super sure. And I guess apparently she's also a pen pal as well. Once she turns into a good guy, she starts writing letters to like Yangyang. So there's even more similarities than you thought. But once again, this ain't PGR. This is Wuwa. Now we got a hairy situation. The care of her hair is a time-consuming project. Okay. The hair and feathers have to be washed and conditioned separately, with different shampoos and conditioners. Yeah, I'd rather just go bald at this point. To save herself the trouble, she once had her hair cut short and tied it up only to let it down again a few days later at the persistence of Chisha and Baija. So, is she ugly as fuck with short hair? Is that what they're trying to say? Is that what they're trying to say? Is that, like, she once cut it short and tied it up, and then her friends had to tell her, stop doing that. Bro, they need to have a short hair Yangyang skin now, and then, like, she needs to be, like, hurt. Like, she needs to look, like, fucking bricked, bro. Like, if that's what they're saying, truly, if it looks that bad, we need to be able to get, like, insight as to what it looks like, right? Like, we should be able to see what it looks like that. It would be much easier if Sui Sui, her sister, were with me. She could use her resonance ability to wash my hair. That's kind of crazy once you think about it. So is that truly the most convenient thing you can think of? Anyways, so yeah, it looks like Yangyang actually does have some hygiene difficulties, simply due to her fucking feathers. So there you go. A breezy conversation. You're quite the sword master, Yangyang. I was amazed to see the new techniques you derive from basic sword force just by harnessing the power of the wind. Okay, I'm genuinely going to need an explanation, like, in the story, because, bro, they're just fucking with this at this point. Like, bro, how is she not bro, like, dude, what am I reading? Dude, I feel like I'm being rage baited. This is actually rage bait, is this not? Bro, they started off with the appearance. They're only talking about feathers again, because she's a bird and birds are air. Pidgeotto, bitch. And then wind. Havoc, by the way. Bro, what are you doing? For a moment there, I thought that you and I might have traded the same sect. Okay, so they're going full wuxia over here. If you played Where Winds Meet, you know what this word is. Master Shilling never told me that the Fang Yi style was limited to Fang Yi. I trained under a master in my hometown, but she was unwilling to divulge what style she was teaching me. She merely told me that it suited me. Okay. So Yangyang has a separate master from her hometown, and it's a woman. So this ain't Chu Yan. So who could this be? Are we thinking maybe it's King Zhao? Maybe it's King Zhao or something like that. That could have been it, because she's air. She's air. Maybe she's the one that taught Yangyang, possibly, right? That would maybe make sense. And this is what I'm talking about over here. Yeah, let me actually just get the Wuthering Waves let me just get the trailer, actually. And you'll be able to see firsthand exactly what I'm talking about over here. Yeah, we got the Zhuang Fong trailer over here. Acidus. I don't know why the fuck that's the hardest word I've ever heard to pronounce. Her. Maybe that's why the transition goes. She's the master. That would make a lot of sense, actually, because she's the master and she's the student, right? That's why it goes from her down to her. Because she's, like, up there. It's, like, symbolic, right? She's on top of the mountain because she's mastered it. And, like, she's this... Yeah, if this is not true, Kuro Games is narratively actually fucking with this. Because this is probably what it has to be. So, there you go. Alright, yeah. So, she merely told me that it suited me, assuming it's her. Then there is General Jian. A gust of wind blows whenever he rides his Qinglong. Okay, so now they're just talking about other people that use wind, and Jian's actually arrow. So, dude, what are these guys doing? So he's actually arrow, so everything referenced so far, wind and stuff, it's all arrow. Cool. Rover wrote me a letter once, telling me about Rinasita. Over there in Rinasita. Okay, so now I guess she's reminiscing about stories now. And at the side of an arena in Jinzhou, two girls are shooting the breeze. Who is she talking to? Because that person also needs to know sword skills. I wonder who she's talking to. Maybe it's Dan Jin? Maybe it's Dan Jin, because we know Dan Jin is also making a bit of an appearance Wait, no. Did they even show Danjin in the storyline over here? I don't think they showed her in the trailer, but we definitely know well, this is gonna be this is a separate thing I'm gonna be making a video on later. Yeah, Danjin shows up over here in the exploration quest in the region. So maybe, because obviously, right, she's generally Chinese as well. So she might show up in the region. Just makes sense, right? There you go. Maybe it's her. So yeah, now we got kitchenware. She cooks too. Awesome. Yangyang is not finicky about everyday objects as long as they do the job, but with one exception. Her home in Jinzhou, simply furnished, oh, we're gonna be able to go to her house, is overrun with kitchenware. Knives, bowls, pans, centrifuge, oven, ice crusher, you name it. It's better equipped than a small restaurant. For Yangyang, cooking is more than a skill, it's a lifelong labor of love. She doesn't aspire to be a cook, but since she was a girl, she has learned the tremendous joy that food made with love can bring. Yangyang, don't you think you're going a little overboard here? Wow, look at what we have here. Auntie's been dying to get one of these. Yangyang smiles. I bought one, then another. Before I knew it, the place was full of them. So she's, okay, so now this is, I feel like this is something we did not know before. So maybe she's got like a cooking hidden passive. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I haven't cooked in this game in like 2 years. Yeah, I think the last time I cooked seriously was like 1.0, and maybe the only thing I make are like some of like the echo drop food dishes, and that's pretty much the only thing. So yeah, food to me is one of the most useless things I've ever seen in this game. I don't really know what else to say about it, bro. It is the biggest afterthought ever. But hey, I guess some people like that shit, like her. So yeah, I think a cooking global passive would not really matter at all. Now we got an accidental obsession. I wonder what that means. Excuse me, mister. I'd like to purchase another puzzle. Oh, it's you again. You've all but gone through the toys in my shop in a month. It would take years to solve them all. Okay, so she's addicted to puzzles. Here is the crown jewel of my little shop. This puzzle lock requires 81 steps to solve. Near unsolvable, I tell you. But I guess if anyone could do it, it would be you. Then I would have to do a little shopping in Mangzhou. Okay, so I guess she's supposed to be smart as well. Yeah, I guess she's also supposed to be very smart too. Okay, so they're clearly doing like a lot of like yang glazing over here. She's like a genius. She's like, what's it called? Very good at like cooking and stuff too, does all of these things. But of course, right, she has the fatal flaw of being a habit character. So maybe we'll get explanation for that really soon. All right, this next section is called Heartfelt. Oh boy, okay. Yeah, we're gonna get into the full-on simping here, aren't we? Cherished item. Records of each other. Okay, so her cherished items are the letters Yangyang has saved from Rover. Bro, are we gonna be able to read all of them? Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a little bit cringe, bro. The letters Yangyang has saved from Rover. She has treasured every one of them, and by now they would stack into a little mountain. Each letter is a journey of its own, a story they could not share in person but chose to share in ink. She keeps these memories dear. Whenever her fingertips trail across written lines, lands her own feet have never touched, the figure of Rover passing through them takes shape clear and vivid in her mind. Yeah, okay, so she's just, yeah, okay, so she's just, this is either really good or really bad. But in this situation, I guess we're going with the really good angle, but like, bro, this is kind of like stalker behavior. Let's be honest. Yangyang's hobby. My sister used to take me kite flying all the time. More wind. She joked that as long as I was there, we would catch a breeze, even on a windless day. Okay, all right. But when we were competing to see whose kite flew higher, she'd watch me like a hawk to make sure I didn't cheat. Not that she'd stand a chance catching me if I did. There you go. All right, so they're fully leaning on into the wind thing. Yeah, no, this is intentionally rage bait. Ideals. Protection takes many forms. It can be stepping up for the defenseless, lifting someone out of hardship, or simply offering a quiet ear for someone who's hurting. Whatever the case may be, you must be strong enough to support others. That is why I must... Okay, so she's basically like just being a fucking nerd here. Yeah, she's just being like a nerd over here. So her ideals look like they're pretty much almost like one-to-one with like Rover. Yeah, I guess that's just what it's looking like over here, doing a lot of glazing. Awesome. Thoughts? A lot has happened in Jinzhou while you were away. I'm glad that we're getting to this because it has been 2 years. I've written to you about the long and short of it, yet some stories are just better told face to face, right? So the adventures you mentioned in your letters, the Black Shores, Raguna, Septimon, and Lahai Roy, would you share them with me again? Okay, so her entire thing, bro, it's just like her sister and Rover, and then maybe like one conversation with somebody in Jinjo. So as you can see, Rover's like basically the, the cornerstone of this over here. Now we got this. This is what I've truly been waiting for. I didn't really care that much about this shit over here. Glad to know that she's still got a crippling obsession with Rover. But this is the true reveal that I wanted. Why the fuck is she Havoc? What about her makes her Havoc? And like, how is Kuro getting away with this? So let's go ahead. Let's get right on into this. So, the Residence Eval report. I do like how this one looks. This is probably, I'm going to be real here, the cleanest looking report we've gotten yet. Like, aesthetically, this is kind of baller. So yeah, compared with previous assessments, the resonance spectrum pattern fit remains extremely high, and the Ray-Bell's curve shows no significant, eventually settling into stable, obsolete. There has to be a typo in here somewhere. This does not even read as a proper sentence. I'm assuming this means that she's good. And she's not gonna overclock. Maybe it already happened, but yeah, this is not a proper sentence. So, shows no significant, eventually settling. I assume it's supposed to say no significant deviations, comma, eventually settling into a stable oscillation. I'm filling in the blanks over here, otherwise this statement's missing a word. Hopefully you can excuse that. Actually, I don't even know why I'm apologizing. This is Kuro's fault. Hopefully you can excuse Kuro for this massive fuck-up. Anyways, the result confirms a natural resonator. The subject can resonate with surrounding air currents. Okay, so it's still arrow. Like it's still arrow. So that's, let's keep going. The subject can resonate with surrounding air currents and gather them into energy fields. Beyond this, she can condense her resonance power into azure plumes, which can neutralize and restore the frequencies they touch, as well as erase the resonance powers and effects imprinted on living and non-living things. So, I guess this is like the take over here. Everything about her is arrow, yet this one part over here, right? The power of her azure plumes, right? And azure is typically a word used to describe it's blue. But in this case, it looks like blue fire, right? We've kind of seen Yangyang SP's animations, and it looks like she's Galbrina. So it's kind of like cleansing flames. That's like, she makes like blue cleansing flames with her attacks. And like azure is oftentimes used in the, in conjunction with like fire to like to describe like blue flames. And that's like a big sort of like cornerstone of her kit and her animations. So there you go. So I assume the Havoc part of her kit is due to her ability to neutralize and restore frequencies and erase resonance powers and effects. So I think this is what she's able to do. Essentially, if someone's gotten like their shit fucked up from like somebody else's resonance ability and like they're cursed or they have like cancer or something, I assume she's able to cleanse it. I assume she's able to cleanse all of like the existing, like all of like basically what other people are able to like, any like debuffs or damage over time effects that people are able to apply. I assume that's what's going on over here. And so that ability to like delete things essentially is where Havoc's coming from. However, I don't know whether or not she's like as powerful as some people might think she is. Like kind of like reading this, people would assume she's able to just delete people. I think she might be able to like cancel out people's frequencies and maybe cancel out their abilities, but I don't think she goes as far as deleting them. And she's basically, and again, it looks like she's able to, let's just say somebody uses like their forte to like make a nuclear bomb. She might be able to deconstruct that nuclear bomb because it's being made with somebody's forte or frequencies, right? So, like, Brand's anchor, she might be able to say, like, get that shit out of here. I don't know, right? Or if Cristoforo's whatever, right? Scar's portal or something like that. She might be able to close shit. So, yeah. Kind of like a nullifying effect over here. Kind of like anti-magic counter spell, I think? So maybe that's why she's Havoc. And if that's the case, it makes sense. But boy, oh boy. They're really kind of wording this, I think, as like a natural advancement of her forte. Natural advancement of it, right? The base is still wind. The base is still wind and arrow and all of that, but then it gains like this new deleting ability, and that just converts her into Havoc. I assume that's the case, because they still can't stop talking about air and wind and all of that. It's still there. It's still omnipresent. Still a big part of her kit. So yeah. Now we got the overclock diagnostic report. So I guess we'll find out more about how dangerous she is. The subject's waveform graph shows elliptical fluctuations with occasional needle point spikes. That actually doesn't. So a little bit interesting. Both peak values trend upwards with no abnormal waveforms observed at the present. Compared with previous reports, the overclock threshold has decreased. So this is probably what we could assume. To gain this ability, she overclocked. That's what I'm assuming. It's because they said she has a history of overclocking before. So likely what occurs over here is that during this quest over here, before she's transcended, she'll likely overclock. Some crazy shit's going to occur. It's going to be wild. And then she's going to turn into this. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen, because they're essentially saying, right, because she's already overclocked once over here, there's less risk of her overclocking again because it's already occurred. And likely what this means, guys, is it's like an overclocking into a second resonance awakening. As we're all aware, second resonance awakenings are something that haven't really happened that frequently in the lore of the game. Some could say there's only been like a couple of individuals who have actually had that happen to them. One of them is, I think you can consider Imeth killing herself in that one short as a second resonance awakening. I think people could say that that actually counts, because I think it did get the job done there, but like unfortunately like she's like dead, so that's not good. So that happened. Then you had Jinsey over here, which is like when a resonance awakening is like it goes correct and nobody dies as a result of it. So that's Jansey's. And then you had the whole like situation over here with like Cart and like Cantarella, where they like kind of hot potatoed the second resonance awakening, and they're like, it's like, you know, it's a little bit like murky. I think she technically got it, but then gave up the power to her, and so it's like it's still a little bit murky, like exactly how that what went down, because it happened off screen. So that's one that occurred over there. So there's been about 3 of them in the lore, and they've all been for very, 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 like, sort of like big name, sentinel, important characters. Like, very important to the lore type of characters. And so the idea, right, is that Yangyang is getting hers as well. But a lot of people could say, and I'm going to be in agreement with you, Yangyang is more of like a companion, like a sidekick in a sense, right? More than like a pivotal story driving character. For example, I think of like that motherfucker Brock. Like, let's think about Pokemon for a second over here, right? Imagine that Rover's like Ash Ketchum. Yangyang to me seems more like a Misty or like a May or like a Brock, right? Where they're just kind of like there with us, but they're not like a pivotal driving character of the story, right? You get what I mean, right? Like, she could kind of like not, she kind of wasn't there, right? But like, she's just been with us. So this kind of character getting a second resonance awakening where they don't seem to really truly have like that important of a role in the story. Remember, she is the game's logo. I'm merely saying that the role she's had so far doesn't seem to match the weight of a second resonance awakening, right? However, this is the thing. They're probably going to make it have the weight. They're probably going to make it have a big role in the story. And so the main sort of conclusion over here that we can probably come to is that they're going to do some crazy shit. We can probably expect storytelling, cinema, lore, and a main quest on the same level as Jinsey in 1.1, Cantarella and Cardathea in 2.2, and of course, Imeth, all of that in 3.1. I'm assuming we're going to get a story of that caliber because that's what comes with a second resonance awakening. Every time that's happened, the story has been insane, that update, and that's basically what's being confirmed over here. So hopefully that long-winded explanation, right, has allowed you to come to this conclusion. 3.5 should be some fucking cinema. And if it's not, then boy oh boy, Kuro's really dropping the ball with this type of transformation, and of course, the sort of like implications that come with it. They've already set a standard, and we've already gotten 3 sort of like instances of like how crazy that standard actually becomes. So yeah, that's going to be that one over here. Now, we just got like some character animations and stuff. This is where it's just going to get a little bit loosey-goosey. Like, okay, you got her and her bird. Woohoo! Very birdie, very cool, haha. Then you're going to have more birds and more air. So there you go. Yeah, let's see how much let's see how much of her is in the combine animation and how much Rover's in here. Her combine animation is like, it's like neat, but it's also like it's also like a little, it's a little boring. I like it. I think it's unique visually, but it's kind of just like boring because she's not fucking doing anything, right? She's like walking and then she turns around and brushes her hair. It fits her theme for sure, but it's like boring as fuck. Her liberation animation is pretty cool though. I mean, cinematography wise, it's quite neat, but like action wise, right? And what she's actually doing, it is a little flowy and like weak, but the effects of it are they're Cartithia like. So yeah, I think it's a Cartithia level like VFX, but I guess the actual movements itself and what I'm seeing, I kind of wish they were more dynamic. She does look like it. It looks like she's not putting that much effort into the attack. Does that, like, I compare it to like a Cartithia ult, right? Cartithia looks like she's bringing down like the planet with that swing. Like, that swing looks powerful. This one, she's kind of like, wee, right? It looks like she's almost like using a wand from Harry Potter. That's, I think, what I'm getting. It's like she's using a wand from Harry Potter instead of like a sword. And I think that's the vibe I'm getting from this. It feels like she's not really using a sword here. It's like she's using that shit as like a wand to like channel energies and throw it at people. Some people might like that though. I guess again, she's a sword wielding character, so I guess maybe I wanted more sword play in the ult. She's kind of just throwing birds at people. Yeah, bomb birds. She's throwing angry birds. So yeah, that's going to be the Yangyang reveal, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to say, with everything that they've gotten prepped, the 3 main story quests, all of that, and of course a brand new region with a shit ton of stuff, and guys, there's obviously there's gonna be a ton of new characters as well. Like y'all don't seem to forget that if this is showing up in the trailer, this is gonna show up in the game. Like these are going to be segments from like the actual quest in this version. Like they're gonna be showing us these characters. Like, so we got a lot in store. It should be a fun ride. And if we're starting off with something as big as a second Resonance Awakening like this, it should be a pretty insane patch story-wise. So yeah, that'll be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought about Yangyang and her reveal over here. Miss Wan Ling, peace out.